So guys, welcome back to our channel again. This is part 2 of unlocking your excellence while in nursing school and beyond. So today we're going to be talking about the resources and discuss them in details of how we can help you as a person to find what is best for you. Today we're going to start with a Level Up RN. Like I said earlier in my videos, I discovered this Level Up RN while I was preparing for my NCLEX, but I wish I had trusted it earlier and used it earlier. So Level Up RN, it's designed by a nurse to give key points on complex nursing topics and concepts, right? And they have questions, and you can watch their YouTube videos and to have more detailed explanations on the key concept that they teach, right? And more so, this is very good for students who learn by quick reviews and repetitions of concepts, especially for their exams before they even go for their clinical. And this Level Up RN, they have different flashcards for med surg, fundamentals of nursing, lab values, and pharmacology, and so forth. So I found it very helpful, especially for the fundamentals, which it helped me to build my fundamental basis during NCLEX, because while I was already preparing for my NCLEX, I didn't really, because I did fundamental my first year of nursing school. I wouldn't say I forgot everything, but how you keep things in your subconsciousness and sometimes you don't even remember. So Level Up RN fundamental flashcards and their videos and stuff helped me to wake up those things out of my memory and be able to refresh before I took my NCLEX, and then taught myself how to retain those information even as I progress in the field of nursing. To remember the key thing that you have learned through this Level Up RN, I think the best way to do it is to make sure that you practice daily to review the complex topics that you learn on a daily basis. Another one is Simple Nursing with Nurse Mike, best for fun and very engaging learning. They make videos with mnemonics and jokes, and it helps you retain things. And I think the best way to use it is to watch their videos on med surg, pharmacology. They make animations, and it's just a whole lot of. He even makes he makes up songs too, and rap song for those that like rap songs. Like you will remember, I remember that he makes the PCD mnemonics for heart failure medications and stuff like that. He also made one, I remember, a sludge. I think it's for clonogenics crisis and stuff like that. So he's really good. All these ADHD, antidiuretics, and like it's just a whole lot that he makes. I remember the SIADH. I learned it from him. SIADHD versus DI. It was so difficult for me to learn these two things. I don't know which is which. It was so confusing. But on his videos, I learned it and I remember it till today, and I'll continue to remember it for the rest of my life. And this very style of learning is for those people that like fun, engaging videos, memory tricks. Maybe you're in your home, you can listen to it, you can dance to it. It's for visual learners, humors, and memory tricks. So get it. It's very good. I heard that they have NCLEX style questions now, and if you want to try their NCLEX style questions, you can also try it as well. I think they also have a whole new online content now where they teach almost complete courses for pharmacology, med surg, fundamentals, and all of that. So you might also want to try it. Remember, all of these things I'm giving is for you to be able to find the one that best fits your style of learning. That one, it's Registered Nurse RN. I've always known her through school. I usually will go to her practice questions online just because my med surg teacher used to refer us to her videos and her style of questions or NCLEX questions or nursing questions a lot. Or I would say her review questions for the things she teaches online a lot. So because of my med surg teacher, I was able to hear about her. And if you're the type of person that likes in-depth details and easy to follow that tough explanation, this is for you. You will learn a lot from her. She writes out things on the board. For me, it didn't really work for me, not because she's not a good, this lady is in-depth. She knows what she's talking about. It's just for me, when I look at the board, everything is just written there. It just makes my brain like, shoo, like, so I'm like, oh no. And sometimes I just won't watch her on the video. I'll just put it in my ear and just listen through the video while she teaches it, right? But again, I'm not that kind of person. I'm a visual learner. I'm a human person. Nurse Mike is my guy. Level Up RN is my people. You understand? But again, this might help you because I know that I picked up some certain things from her as well. But so if you're that kind of person, in-depth explanations, easy to explain, if we can follow her, she is good. I'm not even going to lie. She's good. Okay, so you can follow her. You can, and everything she teaches, every video she teaches, no matter how short that video is, she always puts a link below her videos or review questions on that topic, you can click on that link and it will take you to our website where you can review those questions. And it really helps you to retain information, especially after you have learned about a particular thing, and then they give you questions right away to help you to do memory tricks to remember what you have learned. That's very, very helpful. I think I would say, because I did a lot of our questions under some of our videos. Even while we're in class, my teacher will give us assignments, listen to her videos, do this or do that. And I won't lie to you, it was very helpful. So maybe you're that kind of person and you enjoy detailed explanation that will make it easier for you to grow or to understand the concept that I heard. She's the lady for you, and she's very popular as well. Mnemonic is a nursing platform that turns nursing concepts into fun and cartoon-based mnemonics. Watch the animated stories to remember diseases, medications, and procedures. He's very good with that. Use his quizzes. He gives you like picture summaries of everything. Mnemonic is best for students who struggle with memorization and needs visual aids. Go there and get yours and follow them, watch them. They are very good. All of this, I may not have used them, but I've also looked into them here and there to know that they do help. Another thing to suggest for you guys is questions. I know nursing school is very tasking, that you have not even finished what your classroom work is, talk more of doing extra resources. Yeah, I've been there, especially for some of us, or for those of us who do accelerated nursing. You even barely have time to even finish your normal school work, talk more of adding extra things. However, if you have anything extra time and you want to do questions while in nursing school to help you to expand your knowledge, you can try UWord. Princeton Review is one I love because it was one that helped me during in class a lot. I used UWord, it didn't help me. Even though everybody said use UWord, it was the reigning thing, it didn't help me. I did Princeton, it was what I found that helped me. And there are people also told to use this Princeton. They went and memorized it. I don't know if you're thinking that the questions were going to be in the exam. I don't understand. However, that's what I used that helped me. And Princeton is more like, when I looked at Princeton and when I did my in-class, it was exact the same style, the way in-class set questions. And then I realized that, oops, they actually bought some of their questions from in-class retired questions. So they already know how exactly they set the styles of their question. So that's what worked for me, right? They didn't pay me to advertise. I don't even know who they are. But anyway, people that like UWord, that UWord really helped. They can vouch for UWord from here to tomorrow. Like this, I use this in-class review for when I did my in-class, right? He vouches for UWord. He loves UWord. He doesn't want to talk about no other in-class review bank but UWord. He says that UWord didn't pay him. It's just what he feels that is very detailed for his student to learn. But again, I don't like it. When it comes to questions, I think you should try Princeton. I always say Princeton first, just because it's the one that I use that's helped me, and the ones I've also recommended to people, and I told them how I use it and they used it and they helped them. Some of them passed, some of them didn't. And when I went for my in-class, like I said, and I always say, exactly the way their questions was exactly the way my in-class was worded. There was no difference. If I was doing my Princeton review questions at home, but this time I'm in a monitored environment because of the cameras that are there in our in-class exam and stuff like that. So I felt very comfortable. So if you're looking for exactly how your in-class question is asked verbatim, try Princeton Review. And if anybody that have written in-class before, I passed in-class in 2023. Anyone that has written in-class before 2023 and even moving forward, backward or forward or whatever, they can look at Princeton review questions and they can tell you confidently that it looks exactly as the questions. How I knew about Princeton was friends of mine who did their in-class and they ran into Princeton. Oh my God, Uzo, I think you should use this Princeton. It's good. It's exactly the way in-class was worded. And one of them that Phil told me that she found it very useful for her. And then when she wrote the second time, it worked for her, right? So again, if Princeton if you're looking for a question bank that imitates exactly the way in-class words their questions, you can use Princeton. You can also use UWord. It's very detailed. It's very explained. Some people liked UWord better than any other thing. Me from school, even when I was in nursing school, everybody's talking about UWord. Use UWord. So when I came out, the popular opinion, I bought into UWord, right? And I tried it. It didn't work. It was so overwhelming. It was a lot. Like I said, I love to learn things just in small chunks. Level of RN. Like, no, that's me. That's how my brain understands. So I used U word, it was as if I was having a bumping syndrome. So when I was told about Princeton, I said, well, at this point, I might as well try it. So I tried it, and it worked for me really well, with the fact I was also doing English review class with a class high yield with my Princeton, and it worked absolutely fine for me. Yes, there are other studies I did on the side, level of parent, nurse Mike, but my major two things I did was the Princeton and the English high yield. And guess what? My U word was still there because I didn't really use it. So when I was done studying my Princeton, doing everything I can with the English high yield, let me just play with this my U word questions. Since my time my butt was still running, right? I just went and started doing. Before I used to get 40. I'm not joking. I'm not playing. I'm not trying to downgrade. There are people that have used U word and they did excellently, exceptionally well. It's about finding what works for you. And when I went back to that same U word I was failing, now I'm getting when it's something, it is something. That means I couldn't understand the style that U word was doing their questions or explaining. But with Princeton, I could understand what they're asking me, coupled with the fact I was doing an English review with English high yield. Now it was making more sense to me. Because in the beginning, I was using English high yield with U word. I wasn't understanding. And then our teacher kept telling us, you have to use a U word. He likes U word a lot. The English high yield guy loves U word. He talks about U word all the time because he's a teacher. It's very detailed. But again, even though he liked it, and mind you, I was very nervous because it's my first time coming out of nursing school. I've never written English before. So what my chef was telling me was what I wanted to do. But in the end, it wasn't working. So I had to find what was working for me. And I bless the people who referred me to Princeton, right? And these are people who already wrote English and then ran into Princeton. Oh my God, I wish I had known. And then one of the girls that also told me she did her English, then failed, and then knew about this Princeton. And she was like, this is exactly the way it is worded. And then when I tried it, it was the same thing for me. So you might be that person that you want your question straight to the point. That's praise, and that's how English they ask you your question. Very short questions and straight to the point. You get what you're getting. U word is very, I don't know, their questions are too humongous and just too long to even comprehend for me a lot of times. So when I did Princeton, and then when I now went back to that same U that was messing me up, making me feel so anxious because I felt like I didn't know anything. Now I'm getting in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, even for pharmacology. So you see, it's about you finding what works for you. And the moment you find what works for you, lens just opens up. That you're not dumb, you're very smart. It's just about finding what works for you. I just wanted to be very detailed with this particular question because don't ever, I see people a lot trying to do what Mr. A did. No, you're not Mr. B. You have to find what works for you. What absolutely that you understand, that gives you the concept of where you're headed to for your exam, for your class exams, for English, and even beyond. Another one you can also try, apart from Princeton and U word, is also ASHA. People like ASHA a lot. ASHA is also very short questions and stuff, and I heard it's very hard. I didn't use ASHA, but for people who used it. Some people also talk about Kaplan. One of the English review guys I used one time, I listened to his videos online that time. I can't remember his name right now, but I know he calls it a Kaplan trash. I'm like, why would you call Kaplan trash? But again, in that same 2023, a friend of mine had written and failed, and then she wrote the second time. And she said that Kaplan helped her a lot. Even though I introduced her to Princeton, she didn't make she didn't make so much comments about Princeton helping her when she passed, but she made so much comments about Kaplan helping her. So it's about what works for one. Right? So if Princeton doesn't work for you, maybe U word will work for you, maybe Kaplan will work for you, maybe ASHA will work for you. It's about understanding the concept before what they're asking you. Now, if you have time while in nursing school, you can absolutely do these questions while in nursing school. If you don't have time the moment you come out, try to do questions. I suggest doing about 75 to 100 questions every single day. Yes, 75 to 100 questions every single day. Why I say 75 to 100 is you have to do 75 to 100 so that you can have the time to really review why you failed the ones you failed, why you guessed on the one you guessed, and why you were certain that this was actually the answer that you chose and it was correct. So you have the time to really review all those things and you learn them and pick up things that you can also jot down and stuff like that. That's what I would say at this point, because question helps people learn. There's a girl I went to nursing school with. No matter the topic they're teaching us in class, she cannot literally get a textbook and study. She says she can do it. All she does is to find questions that relate to that particular topic. It might be 1,000 questions. She will just study those questions and she does well. So it's about what works for one. Another thing with all these INCLEX prep question banks is that they have a tracking system that tracks your progress. It will tell you where you're failing, where you need to grow, where you need to work on, and stuff like that. So it's very absolutely good. And at the end of the day, I think you would have about 2 or 3 times you can do a comprehensive questions for them. The Princeton one is 2 as well. You do the first one, then you do the second one. I don't know about Asher. I didn't use Asher. I know about UWorld and Princeton because I personally used the both of them. Even at the end, Princeton was my best. That was what supported me. And these questions are best for students who are preparing for their NCLEX or those who want to have a high performance questions while they are in nursing school. Another one I also found very helpful to other people is nursing.com. Nursing.com is a comprehensive online tool that gives you structured learning, NCLEX style questions, study guides, and stuff like that. So if you like structured learning system, this is a place you want to go. How to use nursing.com is to follow their structured study plan for all their topics. You will do well if you like structure. You can use their videos to understand the pathophysiology of diseases. Pathophysiology is the process of disease. They have also questions that can help you take tests in real time to adapt to what you're learning. They call it adaptive quizzes. And this is good for students who need guided all-in-one structured learning site or experience, I would say. So this is where if you want structure, nursing.com, because everything is structured. They have their study plan. Everything is structured. Even everything, you just follow their structured study plan and you do well. I have never used it, but I've run across it here and there. People have talked all of them as well. And I've checked some of their things I've also checked are very correct. One is Nurse Labs and Osmosis. Nurse Lab and Osmosis is for those people who want extra study tips and deep dive into topics that I've already learned. Their website explains disease processes, study guide, and care plans. They give it to you for free. They are all free and you can learn. How to use Labs and Osmosis is to download their nursing free study guides online to reinforce what you have learned. Using their nursing cheat sheets, it helps a lot for a quick reference to your clinical. This is best for students who need just extra material to supplement their study throughout in class and in nursing school. And we also know that allergy is also a very big one for a lot of us in nursing school and beyond, because it's just a lot of medications out there. So what I did, I have a bunch of mnemonic and pharmacology apps where I just practice medication, how to memorize medication, how to understand medication, like all the lisinoprees, all the beta blockers, channel blockers, and all of that kind of good stuff. That way, we're able to know, and it helps you to retain information. It reinforces what you already know. And with that, you're able to be successful in your pursuit of nursing school and NCLEX and beyond. The bonus tips here I will teach you guys is more like how to effectively use every single one of these things when you have found the ones that work for you, is to make a study plan. Don't just watch their videos or read their notes randomly. No, also have time to schedule the topics in advance. Don't just read all over the place. If it's, let's say you're studying about the heart, study and focus on the heart for the week. Don't do part of the heart, part of the liver. No, do system by system. I feel and believe that it will help you to really understand. And when you start to understand system per system or system by system, you start to understand how this works from here, how this affects that, right? So that's number one thing I think it's very important. Second one I would say is use active recall, where you test your knowledge by using flashcards, quizzes, and NCLEX style questions to help you remember and know what you're studying. Because a lot of people might know a bunch of details or information, but they don't know how to answer questions. I struggled a whole lot in nursing school because of this. There are some things I would have made better, but because I might know those information, but may not be able to pinpoint exactly what I'm being asked in that time. So studying questions will help you to start to understand those things. A friend of mine actually taught me, she said, I will teach you how to destroy questions and pick them in pieces and then put them back together and understand what they're asking you. Because she said, oh my God, I have never seen someone with so much detailed information, but still you fail to be able to write the exam together. She does pass better, even though she didn't study that much. And she will tell me, oh, you have more information than I do. So we both realized that my problem was not being able to understand questions and to be able to answer exactly and pick out the answer they're asking. So when you do repetitive, when you keep repeating in-class style question, quizzes, flashcard, it helps your mind to remember, to destroy those questions, break them into pieces, put them back together, understand why what they're asking you. You may not be 100% right all the time, but at least I can guarantee my kind of person that went from always, I would say between 0 to 10, I was about 60 or 70 all the time when they asked me a question. I went from that point to now getting almost 9 to 10 all the time. So when you do questions a lot, it opens up your mind, you start to understand. Another thing is to avoid information overload. This is where a lot of us make mistake. You want to do this, person give you, and then you overload yourself and start to get confused. For example, when I'm studying, if it's Nurse Mike I want to learn the heart from, I stick with him and I learn the heart. Every information that I listen and is just contradicting or is making me get confused, I just let it go immediately. Right? So don't overwhelm yourself is what you know. I know some in-class people can be teaching people that can, especially the YouTubers who make I don't want to call them, but there's a girl I know. She has this 1 hour review online. They say a 1 hour review before you enter in class. I reviewed that 1 hour stuff, right? Thank God I reviewed it a day before. And when I reviewed, I was saying so many things that was so wrong. I'm like, no, this is not it. And I went back to 2 or 3 places and that was wrong. And guess what? Some people listen to her about major important topics or points just before they go into their in class. And then that's what they now remember. Maybe they have not even heard it before, they've read it before, they will throw away what they have learned and pick up on that. So that's why I don't like listen to the last minute thing before I go into my exam, or listen to the last minute stuff from a random person, because you never know if it's accurate. So I would suggest listen at least a day before to make sure that you check all those things, that 1 hour's video, before you go into your main exam. That determines your fate of passing that class or that exam. So yes, do not overload yourself. I think like I would say it's study in chunks. I'm a chunk girl. Call me that, chunk girl. I like to learn things in chunks. I can do 30 to 45 minutes or 20 to 30 minutes. I get a 5 minutes, walk around, do a few things, I come back again. And it works absolutely fine. Some people can do 25 to 30 minutes. If you're the kind of person that can do an hour, that's fine. During my in-class, out of fear, because I felt like I didn't know anything, I didn't understand what was going on. It felt like in-class is on this side and nursing school is on this side. So I studied long hours of the day, 18 hours max, and I only had an hour, 2 hours break, or an hour, 30 minutes break throughout the whole day. But again, like I said, I break it into chunks. Maybe I studied an hour, 2 hours, I get 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and I started all over again. Because in nursing school, I didn't have time. I went and accelerated nursing school. I have not even had time to finish my schoolwork. Talking more of doing all these questions. That's why I said, if you have time, you do it. If you don't, you leave it. If you can do maybe 10, 20 questions a day for in-class style question, it will help you, because I did a bunch of in-class style questions every day in nursing school, but I didn't do up to 50 a day. I did about 10 or 20 just and review them real quick, and that's it. So when you find what works for you, it works for you. Another thing I do is to teach what I've learned. I love to teach people. Maybe you can teach your body what you've learned. Oh, I learned this and that, and you can teach them. And when you are teaching, you're also teaching your mind. And sometimes I don't see who to teach. Guess what? I call my dummy and I start to teach my dummy. And sometimes my husband will come home and start to teach him, because my husband knows a bunch about healthcare. Sometimes I'm talking about medication. It's like, oh, it doesn't work like that. It works like this. It works. Did you even go to nursing school? Did you even become a doctor? But it's just something he loves. He loves science. He loves healthcare. So he has picked up a lot about diseases and medications, how it works, even side effects. And sometimes he amazes me. So I told him, maybe in your next life, you'll be a doctor. I've always wanted to be a doctor. I don't know what happened, maybe lack of support. So today we've come to the end of this video. If you found this very helpful, please, I encourage you to share and comment. Also come and join the conversation. What helped you while you were in nursing school? What helped you during your in-class prep? How did you pass? What helped? I want us to have that conversation. Please help us to grow this community. This is not just a channel for me, it's a community. And you guys stay blessed, and I'll see you next time. Remember, our video posts every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay blessed. See you next time.